I need help. I need to get fit. More fit. You know when you go out for like group rides and stuff and you think, yeah, I'm feeling good, and then you kind of get to the point where you're a bit like, oh God, this is hard work. So I got a couple of things coming up this year. Pedal hound stuff I've been doing, and Swinduro is coming up in September. But I'm gonna do the Mega Avalanche. So obviously the Mega Avalanche is pretty damn intense if you've seen it, if you've seen some of the preview stuff, if you've seen some of the previous Mega Avalanches. It looks pretty damn intense, doesn't it? I am in no condition right now to be able to, even on an e-bike, complete the Mega Avalanche. So I'm going to see someone who is going to be able to help me train. It's the beginning of April, Mega Avalanche is in mid-July, and I've got loads of work to do, both skills, fitness. It starts now. I'm going to see Ben from the Strength Factory. He is going to help me with a training plan, get myself battle ready for Mega Avalanche in mid-July. Thanks for coming along and helping me out, because I've got a few things that I'm trying to do this year, and I thought I'd never do anything competitive ever, but I think it's just in all of us. I think we want to do better and compete, and there's a couple of things that I've got planned and I need some help with. So I'm doing the Swinduro, which is here.
Cool.
The Pedal Hounds local series of races, which are really cool.
Yeah.
And then the big one is like Mega Avalanche, which
yeah.
I've kind of thought that, I don't know, you should just challenge yourself once in your life.
Yeah, totally.
And I know you've done it. I looked online and I came across your site, which is the Strength Factory.
That's right, yeah.
Kind of got me intrigued as to what I can do to get ready, because I'm riding an e-bike, and we all know that e-bikes are for lazy, old...
You look a bit underweight for an e-biker, actually. You need to get eating some more.
But, you know, I can do runs and bike park rails runs, but, like, the Mega Avalanche is something completely different.
I think it's really good that you've got those smaller local events coming up, because, you know, that just gives you that feel for that added intensity and excitement and anxiety that getting between the tapes gives you. You know, when you hear the beeps at the start and all of a sudden you didn't think you were competitive, and oh wait a minute, you are a bit actually, because you don't want the person behind you to catch you, and you're thinking, God, that one in front, I reckon I could catch him, and you know, and you will be poring over your results afterwards, you know. And whether you are at those events, whether you are just racing the other people or like just competing against the event, you know, so you feel you've ridden well, you know, either way, it does bring out I think the best in your riding. And I think if you want to improve as a rider, racing is a really good way to do that, to be honest.
Yeah. I remember my first pedal hounds that I did, you mentioned the person behind not catching. He caught me.
It sucks, doesn't it?
I was like, what the hell? I thought I was going really fast, and he was, and I moved out the way. And after that, I think that it does help you as a rider. I think it challenges you, and I think when you're in a challenging position, you develop yourself.
Totally.
So, what about the Mega Avalanche have you learned in your experience?
I'm coming to this having done it myself on a pedal bike, and having trained like quite a few people now over the last 5 years who've been and done it. The first thing I'll say actually is, people may joke about lazy e-bikers, but the Mega Avalanche is a lot harder on an e-bike.
Is it? Oh.
I think, because...
Did I choose the wrong...
Because unless they've changed it this year, for the last 2 years, the qualifying is actually run uphill. You literally ride the track in reverse. So it is, I don't know how long it takes, but it's pure suffering, and it's like...
I bought an e-bike because I'm lazy.
I know.
What do I need to be thinking of to get myself into a position that I'm in the best possible, like, mental and physical condition that I can be? Yeah.
So with any kind of downhill gravity oriented riding, but especially on the e-bike, it's just got to be strength, because the bike is heavy, it's so dynamic, and you know, the main race is so long, you know, and the quickest guy's just under an hour, you know, who knows, some guys hour and a half plus of descending of the roughest.
And is it all full on, like gnarly?
No, there's some easier bits, but And there are easier bits, and then there's a little climb where maybe your upper body gets a rest but your lungs get a workout. And so it's, you know, it chops and changes throughout, and sometimes you'll hit that traffic jam and you'll just come to a stop and then you grab a breather. But it is really full on, especially because it's at such high altitude. And so being strong is just going to really help you to hold that body position that you need, because we've all seen it when people get tired. They go from, you know, what I call the flow position rather than the attack position, that flow position where your elbows out, flat back, you've got pretty straight legs, hinged at the hips, and that's where you want to be. That's when you ride your best. That's when you're balanced on the bike. If you're not strong enough, over time that position collapses, and we've all seen it. The knees bend, the chest comes up, the arms straighten, and you sat really upright. All the weight's on the quads, there's no weight on the front wheel because your arms are straight, and that's when people hurt themselves because, you know, they just wash a turn, or they're too tired, they can't concentrate.
So we're talking gym work then?
Gym straight body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not everyone wants to go to a gym, not everyone has one accessible, and it's an expense. So gym or body weight.
Well, I'm guessing that's not just going to help for racing, but just general
riding,
bike riding.
For sure.
I find with e-bikes, and a lot of people find this, that we ride a little bit more, longer, more often, and I guess that strength is going to help with all of that. Yeah,
absolutely. It's building that robustness is a phrase that I really like, and it's robustness about your ability to go out and ride frequently, which comes from being strong and also from your aerobic fitness, and it helps give you that robustness as well for when inevitably you will fall off on the snow or in a training ride or racing or something. You know, we can't promise anything, but muscle's the best body armour. You know, if you have done a good program and you've got good mobility and good strength to go with that mobility, then in theory you should be, you know, not
able to crash better.
Yeah, you'll be better at crashing.
I need some of that as well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like Buzz Lightyear, falling with style. You know.
So, how does what you do differ from me just going to the gym and following like a gym program? Because you do specific coaching for bike riding and mountain bike riding, right?
Yeah. So I think what I do is a bit more sport specific, and it's more focused on, you know, performance basically, and understanding what you need to do on the bike. And, you know, that's what I've been doing now full time for 5 years. Like, most of my clients are mountain bikers from World Cup, Enduro World Series, and trail riders, you know, all sorts of different levels. And your average kind of gym program tends to be a bit more like bodybuilding focused, where maybe on a Monday everyone's doing chest, all doing bench press, on a Tuesday you do legs, Wednesday you have a day off, Thursday biceps, you know, all that sort of nonsense. And that's fine, you know, if you just want to look good on the beach, and that's great. But I think that to get better at your sport, and in this case riding e-bikes as fast as you can, and still have the time and energy to ride your e-bike, which the bodybuilding training, if you're doing it every day and it leaves you really sore, you're not going to have time to. Actually doing maybe 2 full body sessions a week, and with a focus more on strength, i.e. heavier weight and low reps through whole body training. So in every session you'll do some sort of squat or deadlift, for instance. You'll do some single leg work, some upper body pushing work, some upper body pulling work, some core work, maybe some grip work. And that way we train you as like a whole athlete. You could take a generic, like, here is an athlete and he needs to prepare for that, and you can write them this really fancy program, but they've got 3 kids and too much work stress and and actually they can't do that much riding, or it's got to be sustainable.
So this is what I want to do. I want to get ready, I want to get match fit, if you like.
Yeah, man.
I want to continue riding my bike as much as I can
100%,
as well, so I don't want to sacrifice that. So I guess that you do various different plans, or a plan that people, because I'm not going to see you every week, so how does it work?
So what I'm going to be doing for you, Rob, is you're going to go onto my complete mountain bike program, which is a sort of monthly subscription based program where every month you're going to get strength training sessions, on bike training, as well as some extra conditioning stuff that I guess is optional depending on your time. And if the weather's like this, you're not going to do it because you'll be riding, but if it starts snowing or something, then maybe you'll hit some conditioning on the rower as well. And that's something that I I put out through my website, and I've got people all over the UK and Europe using it for trail riding as well as for racing prep and things like that. And what I'm going to do as well is, because to my knowledge, I think you're going to be my first like flat out e-biker.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. There might be one on there, but they're in the closet. You know, they haven't told me yet.
If you're on an e-bike and you're training with Ben, let me know.
Yes, let us know, please. Let us know. And I think what I'm going to do is, because I'd imagine that, well, e-biking is growing. Obviously, I see more and more of them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together like a little e-bike appendix kind of thing for you, just to tweak it a little bit and put a couple of extra little things in there to make it a bit more specific, because I do think that the training needs to be a little different.
Do you? What do you think would be different from a regular
So from my limited experience now, this is my third e-bike. I've only been on e-bikes like part-time now for maybe 4 or 5 months. I think it's quite easy when we're e-biking, without accusing everyone of being lazy, it's quite easy to not put too much pressure actually through the pedals, because the harder you press, the more it gives you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so my feeling is, if I do like a lot of e-biking for a couple of weeks and you go back to a pedal bike, is I always feel, yes, it feels different and you feel sluggish, but I do feel like you lose a bit of that force through the leg. And so, especially thinking about the Meg Avalanche, where you need some force through those legs, I'm afraid, we need to make sure that some of your on-bike training has got a bit more of a focus on actually pushing maybe a lower cadence, so there's a bit more actual force, a bit more strength going through the legs, you know, maybe put in eco mode or something like that, and really push through, rather than always, I think on the e-bike you can quite often be spinning quite light and you never get that strength through. So to complement that, the leg strength, which anyone would do normally, and I think that for you guys, the upper body strength is, you know, is probably more similar to a downhill rider, where their upper body strength, you know, needs to be really good because it's so physical and their bikes are a bit heavier and what they do is so rough. And these things are heavy, you know, and if you want to be manhandling it around and possibly like hoiking it up to run through the snow, then we need to get on some upper body GAINZ, you know, get the protein shakes going, and maybe do that. The other interesting thing that is probably less an issue with you, because, you know, you're a pretty lean and athletic looking guy, is that, well, you know, he bought me a coffee, so is that weight, people kind of don't always think about body weight and bike weight on an e-bike, because you think, well, I've got a motor. And so actually, you know, body weight is really important for e-bike racing and e-bike riding, because everyone's got 250 watts, whether you're a 55 kilo woman or 120 kilo scaffolder called Brian, you know, you've all got 250 watts. And if you want your battery to last, and if you want to go up the hill fast, then Brian needs to shift some timber, you know, so it's just an interesting one to think about.
Totally. I think sometimes we think that because we've got the motor, weight doesn't matter, but it obviously affects battery life and your manoeuvrability on the bike, suspension, it all kind of plays into the overall performance. I don't know if you've seen which series was it, the Welsh Gravity Enduro series, obviously based in Wales, funny enough, and instead of age categories for e-bike, they've started doing weight categories. I have seen that.
And I must admit, I hadn't thought about it until they did that, and then, you know, I read something by Charlie Williams, who runs the series, and I've chatted to him, and and it makes a lot of sense actually. So when you sign on at the race, you go and stand on the bathroom scales, and they're like,
do they weigh you when you get there as well?
I don't know, like you can have people doping, can't you, by putting lead weights in their pants to the weigh-in and then ditching them, but I don't think you have to stand there in your pants like a boxer at weigh-in. I think you go in your riding kit. When you do feel strong and, you know, you're kind of like happy with how you look and things like that, without being vain or anything, it just gives you a confidence that I've done the work, I feel fit and I feel strong, and I can hit that section a bit harder. I can go a bit deeper and really suffer on this bit because I know I've got the fitness to recover on the next section, and I've got the strength to smash through this rock garden off the brakes, death gripping. It's like
what you're offering in your programs, like not everyone's going to do the mega avalanche. I guess that's quite a niche thing, but I do believe that general fitness strength is going to help anyone, whether it's a regular bike or an electric mountain bike. So I'm all for it, and one of my goals this year is to be a better rider, and I think being stronger helps you become a better rider as
100%. I mean, it depends. Like you can get on one of these e-bikes and they're so capable, and you know, like I've said several times, they are heavy obviously, and you can get on it and you can ride it pretty well, but you're kind of a passenger up to a point, and when you get to a certain level of skill, strength and fitness, you then start to take control of this bit of kit rather than just hanging on to it and straight lining everything, ploughing, which is really tempting on an e-bike.
It's good fun.
It is fun. We all have to plough sometimes, but if you think back, for a lot of people maybe coming from pedal bikes, that fun of like popping things and getting on high lines and doing a little Scandi flick and things like that, you can do all those things on an e-bike, but they just take a bit more body language, you know, a bit more forcefulness, a bit more timing, skill, strength and all that sort of thing to be able to do that. So I think I'm possibly biased. I do this for a living, but having done this for a living now for 5 years working with mountain bikers and 10 years coaching the broader public, I've seen it just 1,000 times probably, the positive effect of strength on how people go about their day-to-day lives and how they go about their sport. It's as simple as that, and it's not really, I'm biased, but it's not really controversial. Like there's nothing new. There's no one going to say Ben's speaking nonsense, because it's proven, it's just true. It's a thing.
It is true. All right, so we'll go and hit some of the trails in Swinley.
Happy
You're going to drill me? You're going to?
Yeah, well, we'll have a chat. We'll go along. We'll start by getting warmed up. Which is important, especially both our late 30s now. So it takes a little longer. And then maybe we'll have a talk about and bang it in eco mode for one of the climbs.
Eco?
What's that? It's about 2 or 3 below turbo. And just have a feel about what it's like putting some force through the bike and things like that. And have a chat.
Awesome. Let's go and hit the trails.
Yes, mate.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate.